Uh, 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 uh. What's up, y'all? Pretty Petty Tuesday, all up in your area. How y'all feeling? I hope y'all feel like real men and women should tonight. Here it is, the Daily Go Getimism Show, the 27th of June. June is almost out of here, man. We got 3 more days. We got 3 more days. Do you understand what I'm talking about? We got 3 more days until July 1st, but it has to be June before it is July. And today is June 1st, Pretty Petty Tuesday. And this is the Daily Go Getimism Show. I'm your host, Sun752. And tonight we are talking about what would make you accept a pay cut. What would make you, encourage you, compel you, convince you to take less money than you are making now? For a lot of people, I realize that, look, there ain't nothing you can do to make me accept less money. For other people, it might be a decision based on the living conditions or the working conditions that they may be working in. Some people may need to relocate and build themselves back up to a position that they were in previously. Like, let's say, for example, let's say your spouse or you were offered a job down south. Let's say South Carolina. Now, South Carolina, from what I've heard, living in South Carolina is a big difference from living up north in the city. But I've heard that the living conditions are pretty good, and the I'm talking about in terms of like fresh air. There's a industry down there now where maybe 40, 50 years ago there wasn't a whole lot of that going on, but now you can find jobs down there. There are lots of opportunities, and the cost of living is much cheaper. However, in places where the cost of living is cheaper, salaries are often cheaper as well. So you may move down south and accept a lower salary, for example, but you may be able to live in the exact same manner that you were living up here. Yeah, I have to really take a look at what cost of living means from one person to the next, because I don't think I fully understand it. I don't think I understand how the cost of living can be cheaper. I understand how houses can be cheaper and taxes can be cheaper. I understand how even things like food can be cheaper. How much cheaper? Of course, it depends on place to place. But I could see a situation in which maybe instead of steak costing $7.99, $8.99, $9.99, and upwards for steak per pound, maybe down south is cheaper. Maybe you're going back down to $5.99, $4.99, miraculously cheap compared to the city of Philadelphia. Maybe things like seafood is cheaper, where before the pandemic, we were seeing crab legs, for example, Alaskan crab legs, $4.99 a pound, $5.99 a pound. Anything more than $7 or $8.99 a pound, we were looking at it sideways. Like, no, I'm not paying that much for crab legs. Now you're not getting anything less than probably $9.99 a pound for crab legs. I've stopped looking. I don't even look anymore because it has been so high for the past few years. Maybe down south in a coastal state, maybe you can still get crab legs. I don't know, for $4.99 a pound, $5.99 a pound, maybe even $3.99 a pound. Shrimp too. Who knows? But I don't see how other things that may add spice to your life would be cheaper. Certain things like a car. You mean to tell me that, let's say, I don't know, a S500 Mercedes Benz, $90,000 up here. What's it going to be? I don't know, $70,000 down south. I don't think it works that way. So when we talk about the cost of living, we have to really take into consideration what we consider the living cost to be and the items of the living cost to be. So It's something to think about. But when you talk about taking or accepting less money than you've already been making, you also have to take into consideration that whatever you are making in your life, whenever you take a significant pay cut, you're talking about a bigger percentage of what you were making salary wise. So if you're making $40,000 a year and you accept a $4,000 pay cut, I don't know if you understand that you just took a 10% pay cut. 10%. So it's not a small thing. Whereas somebody who's making 120,000, well, let's say somebody who's making 80,000, if they accept a position for 76,000, then they've accepted a $5,000 pay cut. Somebody who's making $120,000, if they accept a $4,000 pay cut, then it's only been a 2.5% pay cut. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm sorry, 10% and 5%. Yeah, that's right. So the more you make, the same amount can equal less of a hit and a financial burden than you were carrying. So that's something that you really have to take into consideration when you think about whether you would take a pay cut or not. Now, there are certain situations that you may be dealing with in your job situation that may compel you to take a pay cut no matter what. Especially if you're thinking about changing jobs, not just changing careers. Maybe if you were in nursing before and now you're seeking a job in psychology, business, a trade or something like that. You know, you're probably going to be working in an entry level position in which a lot of businesses would feel like they were taking a chance on you and they're not going to give you the maximum amount of money that they could offer somebody who has been working in that industry for a while. So you might accept a pay cut in that regard. What if you were working in an industry or at a job that you simply hated? Like you just wanted to get out of this job. Maybe you were good at the job, or maybe you were better at the job at one time, but the stress of that job has just really diminished all of your quality of life. We're talking about the cost of living. Now, when we talk about jobs, when we talk about life, we have to take quality of life into consideration. So if you work at a job where it's stressing you out to the point where you are considering where you feel like you need therapy on a regular basis, where it's becoming more of a chore just to get up and go to this place, where you never feel good on your way to work and you always feel bad on your way from work, maybe taking a salary cut for that peace of mind might not be such a bad idea for you. So that's what we're talking about tonight on the Daily Go Getimism Show. What would make you take a pay cut? What would make you accept a pay cut? What would make you compel you, convince you? Why would you take less money for a job that you do well? But that's what we're talking about. So let's get it popping. Urban Therapy with Sun 752. And this your daily. The Daily Go Getimism Show. We do this every single day. Every day it rains. Every day it rains. And the DG will do the same. We break it down, baby. Every day it rains. And the DG will do the same. Every day it rains. And the DG will do the same. Every day it rains and the DG will do the same. Every day it rains and the DG will do the same. I am your host, Son752, aka Omar, with the. And if you can't say Omar with the. Well, then you just say Omar with the R. This is the Daily Go Getimism show all up in your area. I'm feeling like a real man should, and I hope y'all feel like real men and women should also. Tonight on the Daily Go Getimism show, we are asking the question, what would make you accept a pay cut? And it's okay if the answer is nothing or God. Only way that I would accept a pay cut is if God Almighty came down in the flesh and spoke to me. Now, I ain't talking about voices. Nope. He has to come down in the flesh and be like, hey, yo, you ain't expect me to look like this now, did you? Look, this is what I need you to do. I need you to accept that pay cut. Now, you know I got you. You know how you've been running around here for years talking about God got me. God got me. Well, here's your chance to show and prove. I need you to go ahead and take that pay cut so I can get you later on. I got something great for you. You don't even know the greatness that I have in store, but you're about to learn. You're gonna learn today. But maybe for you, God would have to do that in the flesh. God would have to come down. Come down, MC God. MC Lord, come down. Come down, MC Lord. Show me the way. And if you show me the way, I take a pay cut today. I said, you show me the way, I take a pay cut today. Show me the way, I take a pay cut today. That's the only way. You'll come down in the flesh. Show me the way, I take a pay cut. And I'ma do it today. I never complain about the money I made, because I know that you got my good heart at stake. And you're gonna make sure that I get taken care of, just like a care bag to share. And I know that God has seen you there in the flesh. I ain't never seen nothing nowhere like that before. You came down for sure. You made sure that I wouldn't take no more. But I know that I'm going to get a lot later on, because God came down in the flesh and make sure that I'm not a blood clot. What we talking about? Where we going? I have to show you my salary because it's showing. Just a slip, like a slip under the skirt, and I'm gonna make sure I take this pay cut and it ain't gonna hurt. Everything is gonna be all right. Do you believe? Are you a believer? Are you a believer, not a deceiver? I don't know. What we talking about, y'all? What we talking about? What would make you take a pay cut? Now, I've known people who have switched jobs, relocated. Some had to relocate because maybe, okay, for example, let's say you worked at a job for a company. You worked for a company that had a global reach. So you could go and work in Alaska. You could go and work in Canada. You could go and work in South America. You could go and work in Europe. You could go and work in Asia. And maybe the openings that they had in these other places were something that was palatable to you. Like maybe you always wanted to go and live on the West Coast. So my job has an opening over there in California. But California is very expensive. Very expensive California is to live, especially if you live in like the major cities like, San Francisco, LA, San Diego. Southern California is expensive as hell to live. So maybe if you're working for the same salary, but in a more expensive place, that's kind of like a salary cut. It's like a pay cut. You can't live the same way in Los Angeles as you can live in Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a blue collar city. No matter what they try to do to this city to try to raise its social profile and all that kind of stuff. If you grew up in the city of Philadelphia and you are 30 years old or more, then you don't know what high rent looks like. You didn't grow up paying that, experiencing that, and you're definitely not used to it. So finding jobs that will accommodate a high rent It's not as easy in Philadelphia as it might be if you grew up in New York, if you grew up in DC, if you grew up in Chicago, if you grew up in California, in LA, or places like that, that are used to upwards of $1,500, for small apartments. Our market isn't like that. So that would be something that you would have to get used to. And if you really wanted to move to the West Coast from the East Coast, that's something that you would have to take into consideration. Now, if you were moving from New York City to LA, it would probably be like a lateral move, cost wise, because everything in New York is expensive, mad expensive. Not to New Yorkers, but to everybody else who moves to New York, because the cost of living anywhere else in the world that you come from, except for maybe LA, cost of living is way cheaper than it costs to live in New York. That's why even people from New York go and move to Jersey or Connecticut or somewhere, because it's like, I can't do it. Little space for a lot of money. That's what you get as far as living conditions are in New York, especially New York City. And I'm talking about Manhattan. Yeah, the 5 boroughs, except Queens and a little bit of the Bronx. Everywhere else, I mean, you barely can. And even in Queens and the Bronx, those houses are small, man. Unless you are paying out your ass, those houses are small. Now in New York, they don't have row homes. In Philadelphia, they do. But the homes, the homes that they have in New York, that may be like a double or like a or even a single home. You go in them houses, you like, yo, my row home is bigger than this. More bedrooms, more space. I got a backyard and a front yard. You know what I'm saying? You don't get that in New York. You ain't got that. You know what I mean? And that's even in Queens. So you talking about a place where they have turned single family homes, single family dwellings into to duplexes, and they talking about some $600,000 for these little ass houses. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, you need a better view. If you've ever watched Unsung, and like they've had Tribe Called Quest on there, they've had the Fat Boys on there, and both of them they from Queens. So you go and you see the houses that they grew up in, you be like, well, at least it has a driveway. And those are single family homes. You in Harlem, you ain't getting that. You gonna live in an apartment. You might live in a brownstone, but most people who lived in a brownstone didn't own the whole brownstone. Some did, but for the most part, nah, you broke that down into threes. Anyway, so moving from New York to California or whatever, it might not be that big of a hit. Environmentally, it's going to be different though. New York is a big city, but it's made small. So they packed a whole bunch of people in a certain square mileage radius. Whereas in LA, all right, in New York, they took 8 million people and put it into a certain square mileage radius. Whereas in LA is a county. New York is 5 counties. Each borough is its own county. That's why the way New York is set up is different. I don't get it. But in LA, there is no city of LA. They be saying the city of LA, downtown LA. And I'm like, how can you have downtown to a county? What's downtown county? So you have all of these other cities and towns like Compton, like Rosecrans, like Inglewood, like Watts. All of these are cities within the county. So when you say LA, you're talking about a big spread, a very wide area, a very California is wide. They have mad space. New York is small with all of these people. So like in New York, they literally live like rats. In LA, they literally live like horses. That's the best analogy I can give you. In LA, I mean in California, they literally live like horses. There's plenty of space. In New York, rats. Yo, get off me. You seen the New York subway? Like, get out of here. Man, I don't even want that seat. I stand. But yo, get you touching me. Literally. You don't hear nobody in California complain about people being all up on them, being too close to them. Why you think they invented drive-bys? Because they could do that shit. New York was like drive-by. Shoot, we shoot somebody, we got to run in the building and hope they don't know which apartment we went into. Anyway, all of this goes towards, asking yourself what's more cost effective. And so when you talk about going to work to put in your 40 hours or more of work, your compensation package. So take your compensation package is what you have to take into consideration. It's the reason that you wouldn't got a job. Sure, other people cite other reasons that they took a job. They get personal fulfillment out of it and all that kind of stuff. They feel like they're doing something for their fellow man, their community, humanity, all that kind of shit. At the end of the day, you get a paycheck for that. So ain't no volunteer work. I ain't talking about no volunteer work. Volunteer, whether you volunteer in New York, Texas, California, Minnesota, it doesn't matter. You ain't getting no money if you volunteer. If you work at a job where you accept a salary, then you have to take that salary into consideration, because you ain't trying to go in there and bust your ass for free. That's not what you signed up for. You're not a candy striper. You're not a volunteer fireman. You know what I'm saying? Somebody got to write you a check, son. This is bigger than just a thank you. Cause I thank you, yeah. Cause I thank you, yeah. I wanna thank you for making me a nigga. All right. What's going on, T. Carey? Right, morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my people going directly into your site. And Carol Chamberlain, my friend, mi favorita. Always a good time. Great to see you. Stacy White. Thanks for coming on through tonight. I'm glad you came through. Feeling all right. Manifest reality. Thanks for coming on through. What a sight to see. And what's up, y'all? So what y'all talking about? What we talking about? When we talking about, TK Wright says, I took a substantial pay cut to work at my current job. I did it because of the benefits and the personal safety. It ended up being the best decision. I've been there for 16 years now. Now, well, let me see if you say it already. Okay, Carol says, I can see that reasoning, Taki. Sometimes the money just isn't everything. You know what? I wish I could say that, because for me at a job, money is the only thing. I swear to God, I don't give a shit about nothing else. I don't. I care about other stuff after I'm working there. But going in, I'm like, no. This is a financial decision for me. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to stress me out, if you're going to give me poor working conditions, you got to pay for that. If I want to live free, then I'll probably do it for free. But I always think about what I do for free. Like, would I sign up to do this for free? And I think that's something that a lot of people should take into consideration when they talk about their jobs, or when they talk about changing jobs and things like that, or what you would put up with when you're doing your job. If somebody took your salary away from you, would you still do what you do for free? That's something you have to take into consideration. When I was doing stand-up comedy, a certain comedian posed that question. He said, all right, would you get up here and stand on these stages and sacrifice your self-esteem for no money? And the answer was yes. It was yes to all of us because none of us started out making money standing on those stages. We had to endure booze and not booze, alcohol. I mean, like, boo, get off stage, man. Yo, get that motherfucker the light, man. Get him up out of there. Yeah, and you have not been humiliated until there's a room full of people that don't even want you to stay there afterwards and have drinks. That until you have people who want you to apologize for what you said up there, as if you personally dissed somebody. Just because you didn't make them laugh, they mad at you. Like, you already bombed on stage. Why are you still here? You in here drinking and talking to people and trying to enjoy yourself. Why? You were just up there on that stage, not making people laugh. Now, somebody laughed. Somebody saw the humor. But that's the way it makes you feel. So, you should probably think about that. Would you do what you do for free? Now, you have to take into consideration you probably went to school to learn what you do, had training, got training, and even paid for that training to learn how to do what you do. So, yeah, doing it voluntarily probably isn't your goal, but you might do it. If you take major athletes make millions of dollars doing what they do, but they also give back and often coach and show up at pickup games and things like that. So they do actually do it for free. So you should ask yourself, would you do what you do for free? So it's probably situational. Yeah, I would do what I do for free, but not for somebody who's paying me. Like when you do something for free, you do it on your leisure time. You do it at your leisure. Like when I feel like doing it, I'll do it. Other than that, I'm not going to do it in front of 20,000 people every night for free. You can best believe that. You can believe that shit. Stacey White says, my sanity and peace of mind. And she says, sometimes it's not worth it. Okay. Manifest reality. I'm doing good. And she says, to answer, I would accept temporarily given the possible benefits that I have for my family and self. Benefits are very costly. Okay. Carol says, I'm noticing that a lot of New Yorkers are buying property in Philly because property is much cheaper. And even though they've raised the property values and the cost of houses in Philly, and compared to New York, they like, that ain't nothing but a regular evolvement. A regular evolution in raising. Like New Yorkers, they look at like $100,000, $200,000 property. Like they don't even sneeze at that. Like, I mean, it ain't like all of them make no $200,000 salary, but for what they're used to, $200,000, $300,000 for a house ain't nothing to them. Because they come from a different place. I swear, where my daughter lives at in Queens, you spin those blocks and those little ass houses with the white iron gates and the little gate in front with the little yard and the little driveway on the side. Like, if you've ever seen a movie with 50 Cent, the rapper documentary, you see the house he grew up in, 600 G's, 600, damn near $1 million, definitely over $500,000. And you're like, for what? And it's like a 3-bedroom. And they're like, and I mean small bedrooms. We talking about New York. Whatever the bedroom is that you live in, wherever you live, New York is about, their bedrooms are about 1/2 or 1/3 of that. And I'm just being real. Maybe that's why when them niggas go to jail, it don't be that much of a difference. Like, shit, 8x10 of jail cell. It's kind of like home. Kind of like home. I'm just saying. Manifest Reality says, look at what changes could be made in finances and make adjustments and find something else or add a additional source of income. Yeah, you talking about being a hustler. So if you're a hustler, you're a hustler. If you're the type of person that always works a second job or even a third job, or the type of person that's always selling something, mid-level marketing, Amway, uh, 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 prepaid legal services. Remember, people, you see them pictures up there, right there? That people were selling mad art. They were selling mad art, black art, back in the early 2000s and the late 90s. So we was all going to these parties buying art. That's where I got them. That's where I got the pictures from. Yeah, it was a big thing. It was a big thing in the late 90s, early 2000s. So people was getting their hustle on that way. Tattoo parties, all that, all that kind of stuff. A hustler is a hustler. You're never going to stop a hustler from making extra money. A hustler will never accept just one source of income. And that's good for them. But I'm talking about your particular job. A job that would either make you have to hustle harder or even compel you to reduce your hustle and be able to spend more time with your family, your spouse, your lover, your friends, whatever. That would free up some time for you. Shirley, the world's most precious and greatest pearl in the world. Shirley, the world's most precious and greatest pearl in the world. What's going on, ma? Good to see. Good to see me. Some you. We're talking about what would make you accept a pay cut. What would make you accept a pay cut? What would make you accept a pay cut? What would make you accept a pay cut? Would it be some hair and makeup? What would make you accept the pay cut? What would make you accept the pay cut? What would make you accept the pay cut? Would it be some hair and makeup? Do a little hair and makeup on the side, so I quit my job and I reduce my hours. I'm sorry, y'all. I had to get out of view for a minute because I ain't want to blow my boogies on camera this time. Sometimes I let y'all see, but you know what I mean? I might have been a little chunky tonight, so I had to get out of view for a hot second. But we good. We good. My nigga, we good. Levels is good. Levels is good. Levels is good. Smell like a little good H2O, especially when it's nice and cold. Okay. Stacey White says, I changed my mind about New York. I can dig it. Manifest Reality says that Carrie, right. I so agree because I have been there as well. No way I could have made it without those benefits while having to take care of my son. I hear that. And she also says, sorry, I'm back. I had to step away for a moment. You had to blow your nose too? Well, no. No? Okay. So yeah, man, when you talk about accepting a pay cut for some people like me, it sounds like preposterous. Preposterous. But that's mainly because of the way I look at business and the way I look at businesses. Because I have a different understanding about their motives for hiring people and for paying people. I may look at things in a way that other people may not look at it. And I'm not saying that I look at it in a better way. It's just hard for me to look at things in a way that isn't fiscally responsible or fiscally feasible. Like, I only accept a job for money. I've never been in a job where I felt like I was doing something for anybody else except for the company. I'm like, the company is the one that benefits from this. You know what I'm saying? Like, they get money, baby. I'm making them dough. And as soon as I'm not making the money anymore, they're going to let you go. They're going to let me go. They're going to let everybody go who ain't bringing the money in. And that's just the way it works in business. So when they say that is not personal, a lot of times it's not, even though it's going to feel personal, because you personally invest yourself into a work situation that is thankless in many ways. Thankless in many ways. Many times you may want to advance, get promotions, raises, and stuff like that, and they tell you no. And it seems personal, especially when you see somebody else advancing or getting raises and things like that. But they arrange budgets and stuff like that, and it is personal to a certain degree because you're dealing with people, and people always get personal. People will never remain 100% businesslike, and business decisions often feel personal as well. So, taking that into consideration, what would make you accept a pay cut? What would make you take a kick in the butt? What? What? All right. Shirley Cheryl says, man, I need 2 boxes of tissue tonight. Oh my gosh. Caught in the rain coming home from work. Yeah, it was bad out there for a minute. It was bad. I said it really was. It really was. You know, that rain was the kind of rain when you look out, when you know somebody is coming home in that's when you start making calls. Like, yo, you all right? Yo, if you out there, driving in that, I don't want you driving in that. Pull over, man. Pull over to the side of the road, throw them blinkers on, and wait till that storm blow over. You know what I mean? Because so many things can happen weather wise and accident wise when you out there driving in that mess. Some people, especially people people who have 4-wheel drive cars, you cannot tell people nothing when they have a 4-wheel drive vehicle. When it snows, they just think that they can do anything. And it's not true. It's not true. I have 2 full-time 4-wheel drive vehicles, and yet all that stuff. Before I got a 4-wheel drive vehicle, I thought everybody, I was like, yo, this thing just be tackling the snow. It just be doing whatever it want to do. It don't. No, it don't. It's overrated. Front wheel drive will get you just as far as you need to be as 4-wheel drive will. Don't believe me? Go to a racetrack and you'll see that none of those cars are 4-wheel drive. Only thing 4-wheel drive does is take up a bunch of money. But speaking of taking up a bunch of money, because 4-wheel drive uses up way more gas because the transmission has to run 4 tires. The engine and the transmission have to accommodate for 4 tires instead of 2. And some cars back in the day used to only have 1 tire that actually turned. So 1 tire would drive the whole car. A lot of people didn't know that until they got stuck in the snow and they realized, like, yo, why only 1 tire I'm turning in this joint? Because single wheel drive. So anyway, yeah, but speaking of driving and all that kind of stuff, things like gas, when you start talking about accepting a pay cut, things like gas become a factor. How much gas do you need to put in your vehicle? A vehicle? How much gas do you got to put in your car? They have gotten us so used to gas being above $3 a gallon since the pandemic. I don't think that we'll see gas below $3 again, especially with them making these electric cars and things like that. I think these oil companies feel like, oh my gosh, we got to get everything that we can from here on out because they're trying to phase us out. That's what I think is going on. But I don't think that we're going to see many gas prices below $3 again. Right now, the lowest I've seen around my area is like $3.50 gallon. So when you think about taking a pay cut, a significant pay cut, even a small pay cut, things like if you work out of town and you have to pay for gas and tolls, or even if you don't drive, so you have to pay for public transportation, this becomes an issue. It's going to hurt later on. It may not feel like nothing up front. Like, man, all right, this takes $100 off my check. I'm still paid. That $100, that was more than enough gas for you for the week. It's something that you gotta take into consideration. It's something that you just gotta take into consideration. Carol Chamberlain says, not bragging, but I'm glad that I don't have to make decisions like that any longer. I have benefits that are right for me. I hear that. Carol Chamberlain says also, people who drive SUVs and all-wheel drive think that they are invincible. Not, like I said, I don't be feeling no safer, especially in the snow. Because guess what? 4 wheels slide on ice just like 2 wheels. But every car has 4 wheels. You know what I'm saying? So 4-wheel drive might be a little better in the snow, but it ain't that much better. Not it ain't as good as people say or act like it is to be trying to do 80 miles per hour in the snow. I've seen people do it. Like, what are you doing? Trying to slide into heaven? Here we go. Twisted Metal, baby. Twisted Metal, baby. That's when you start seeing a lot of slow singing and flower bringing. 4-wheel drive starts. Okay, anyway. All right. Okay. Shirley Show says, only thing I think I would take a pay cut for is to keep the company that I really like from going out of business. Like when I was working at the daycare, some parents needed the service. See, okay, small business. When you work for a small business, you can make an impact. But when you really think about it, Cheryl, if you have to take a pay cut in order for that small business to be able to stay afloat, then that business got to go. I'm not even trying to be mean, but think about it. You can't have people babysitting kids all day for free, teaching kids all day for free, watching kids all day for free, developing recreational activities for kids for free, buying chocolate milk, sips, Capri Suns, snacks, lunch meat, bread, fruit, milk, gummy bears. What are some healthy snacks? Sliced apples. You know, if I have to take a pay cut in order for this company to be able to stay afloat, then the management of this company ain't what it should be. It ain't what it should be. I'm not trying to be mean, but those are the things that small businesses have to take into consideration. Whether it's a small business or whether it's a big corporation, the business part of it has to run a certain type of way. And they can't expect people to work for them uncompensated or being reduced in compensation. How much do you have to take a pay cut for in order to keep a business afloat? I mean, really afloat. Like, so the difference between you opening your doors and closing your doors for good, should I say the difference is between you keeping your doors open and having to close your doors for good? Are you reducing my pay from $16 an hour to $12 an hour? That's really going to help you? Let me see your books. And like I said, I'm not trying to diss. I'm just keeping it 1,000. TK Wright says, got to go further than North Carolina in order to see gas at $2.29. There's places where gas is in the two. Yeah. Well, that's another thing you have to take into consideration if you ever move from New York to California, because California gas, I don't know what is wrong with the pipelines or whatever is in California, but they don't know what it's like to pay under $5 a gallon for gas. Yo, that's crazy in California. Crazy. And I don't know if they've changed it, but years ago, speaking of cars in California, you know how like in other states, if you register your car to a different person or whatever, you sell your car, you get a different license plate and all of that. Back in the day in California, that license plate that was on that car for good. So whatever the license plate was that you chose, that's the way it was going to be. Whether you kept the car, sold the car, transferred the car, transferred title, whatever, that license plate stayed the same. I don't know if they've changed that, because that sounded crazy to me. So what if you had a personalized license plate? You sell your car, and now you running around here with your license plate saying Mary Kay. Like, dude, why is your license plate Mary Kay? You know I bought this car used. Oh, okay, I got you. It's crazy. Crazy. Manifest Reality says, great topic, Sunset of My Two. This evening will be back tomorrow. Everyone have a wonderful evening. Yo, good looking out, Manifest Reality. I appreciate you coming through. And Shirley Searle says, some of them couldn't afford to pay. Well, you know how expensive childcare is, though. You know what I mean? So even if you took a pay cut, those parents still got to pay. They got to pay. Ain't no free childcare. You know what I mean? Now, you and I know that the people who take the biggest hit when it comes to childcare are the working people, middle class, lower middle class people, because they can't afford no $200 and $300 a week for childcare. Can't afford it. Meanwhile, you on welfare, you get a voucher. You low income, still eligible for food stamps and shit like that, you get that voucher. So childcare ain't a thing for you. Somebody making $40,000, $45,000, $50,000 a year, childcare is a problem. Major. Be like, yo, man, them kids got to get big enough to go to grandma's house. They got to go to they got to go to grandma's. Shit. Be like, yo, this private school. I mean, this daycare is like, it's like I might as well send them to Catholic school. Be like, so let me get this. Let me get this straight. Let me get this straight, Mr. McIntyre. Your child is 3 years old, and you trying to enroll them in Roman Catholic high school? And you're like, yeah, what? Mr. McIntyre, this is a high school. So what? How much it costs? Well, it costs this much. Well, yeah, that's how much daycare costs. So I figured we going to fuck all that. You don't really learn nothing between first and ninth grade. Listen, my baby is 3. She or he is already reading. So just give him some, just tighten them up on the reading skills. By the time he or she becomes he's Roman Catholic, so it's an all boys school. By the time he becomes a senior, he'll be rocking with the rest of the student body. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. But I just don't see what's the point. If I gotta pay $1,000 a month, for daycare, I figure my baby might as well be learning algebra and English and history and taking religion like y'all offer here at this Roman Catholic high school for boys. So here, where'd I sign up? Okay. TK Wright says, I'm not with the constant high stress at the job. The kind of stress that goes home with you and hangs out on the weekends. I hear that. I'm not with it either, even though I know something about it. Anyway. Carol says, rubber and ice still slide. Yes, they do. Shirley Cheryl says, I also worked at a school that couldn't pay for tutoring for the kids. The kids needed it sometimes. And sometimes I got paid and sometimes I volunteered. I helped out a lot of children, so I didn't mind. I understand that. I get it. You're altruistic. You believe in the greater good or the good that can't be found with the dollar. I get it. I really do. I'm not doing that for a company though. That's all I'm saying. I definitely believe in each one teaching one. I definitely believe in community policing, community teaching, community everything. But what I don't believe in is working for a brand that's making a bunch of money and paying you a little bit and expecting you to take a little bit more or less. A little bit less, a little bit. Shirley Cheryl says, done it plenty of times. When it comes to the children and seniors, they get me most of the time. Well, look at you. Look at you. We got to do these birthday shout outs. What? Take a pay cut. We got to do these birthday shout outs. What? Take a pay cut. Let's do it. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious June 27th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them. Making them feel special because they are special, because they are special, because they are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They get number one out the box. Robert Theola Barron, Springfield, turning 36 years old today. And Richard Adams, turning 53 years old today. And Rodrigo McIntyre, no relation. But what up, guys? What's going on? Turning 36 years old today. And China Milan, who is raising money for the fundraiser for Autism Hero Project, turning 32 years old today. And Twin Gant, happy birthday to you. And Lorraine Jenneret, turning 54 years old today. And Josette Murray, happy birthday to you. And Charnel Richmond, happy birthday to you. And Hilanka Pimentel, turning 36 years old today. And Phi Fiorioso, turning 38 years old today. And Tamia Williams from Milwaukee, turning 48 years old today. And also Richard Adams, his second account. And also wait. My man Sylvester Fuller, Senior, turning 61 years old today. And last but not least, going all the way back to the 1981, my girl Kia Gaines Thompson. Her last name is Thompson now because she married. Happy birthday to you, Kia. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all in good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And this goes out to each and everybody born on this glorious June 27th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead, turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn, rock out, rock on and do the damn, rock out, rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours. And remember, taking a pay cut is not a small thing to do. It's something that you should probably only take into serious consideration if you have discussed it with other people that may be involved and may be affected by the pay cut. People like your spouse, your kids, your family, significant other, people that you may either share bills with or pay bills to. You know, I would say take your whole financial situation into consideration, and also take your peace of mind, take your mental state, your mental and emotional state into consideration. At the end of the day, your name is going to be the only one on that check. So you're going to be the one that's affected by it the most. You and yours are going to be affected by it the most. So sometimes it might be the best thing to do. If you're working at a job that is killing you either physically or emotionally, it's probably a better thing to move on. And there are opportunities when you start low. You have opportunities to go up a little bit higher. But those are things that you need to research and make sure are put in place before you make the move that you're about to make that move right now, baby. All right. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all. Love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow night for another daily go-get-amism show. So make sure y'all come through. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. All right, so Blog Talk, we gonna get you out of here. Yeah. And for my YouTubers, you know just how we do, but thanks for coming on through. See you on the other side, my boobas. Peace. See you on the other side, my boobas. Peace. See you on the other side, my boobas. One.